things that makes you go, ugh. Okay, now I'm live and I can see you. The first time that I did this, it was black. So I think I now have to go back and recalibrate this because this is weird. I'm sorry, folks. What am I apologizing for? It wasn't my fault. You see me, right? But now I have to go back here because this is a situation here. This is what I'm doing, okay? Yeah, I'm not upstairs. I'm not cueing the music because, well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you in a moment why I'm not cueing the music, and I will tell you what's going on here. But the bottom line is, okay, the stream is good, right? Hey, how you doing? And it says view on watch page. This is what I'm doing. It says view on watch page, right? And see, look, there's the commercial. And there you guys are. And you can see that there's a commercial. Yay, we like money. And it says I can skip the video, which is what I'm doing. And, alright. The reason why I'm going through this with you is because when I first went to come on live stream, the screen was totally black. Now, I mean, you couldn't see a thing. It was like Dark Knight. It was really weird. And, okay, Barry Lee, you're right about that. But, look, my mom over here, hey, Mom, I'm bragging about you. My mom was right on. She picked the Celtics. So, she picked the Celtics to win. So I'm bragging about my mom because she was right about the basketball game. Before halftime. Do you want to say something?
Not right now.
Anyway, she doesn't want to. She's too shy to come before the camera, but she was right. And so I went to the gym. But Mom said that the Celtics were just the better team. Mama, that's right, Barry Lee. Mama knows best. That's correct. So, wow. And I have to admit, Mom was right. They wanted it more. They played, especially Isaiah Thomas, their hearts out. And maybe spiritually it was just meant to be, right? You wonder. Okay, I will. Hey, everybody says hi, Ma. So, it was a great series, wasn't it? I mean, it was one of those good old-fashioned shoot 'em out, shoot 'em up challenge series that makes you want to just play that, you know, bum, bum, ba-da-da, ba-da-da, da-da-da, da-da. Well, all right. I'm not going to OD on that music. I promised myself I was going to give you all a rest. Maybe I'll find little grit K-pop. But there was a commercial Michelle Wee was in, and it goes, I don't know who, anyway, whatever. Can Boston take out the Cavaliers? No. I just can't see them doing it. I just can't see them doing it. I think that they're an impediment to, merely an impediment to the Celtics. They're merely an impediment to the Cleveland Cavaliers. You want to know what the problem is with me? Okay? My problem is Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And I was a huge, huge Magic fan. I have never, in my entire life, rooted for the Boston Celtics. No, I never have. I just have that thing in me that says if you were to give me a button and had my choice of NBA team, and then you said, okay, if I pick the Celtics, you'll give me $1,000, I would not pick it. Maybe 100,000, but 1,000? I just cannot stand the Celtics. Hey, Steve Macy, how you doing? I can't. And Crawford says, Oh yeah, did you hear how Greg Papa just went off? Ooh boy, that is something. I've got to find that one. That was yeah. Anything can happen in sports, Mr. Collins. You're absolutely right. Let me see if we can find Greg Papa. Did I say Greg Papa? I meant it's a long. I'm thinking about. It's been a long day. I'm talking about the coach of the Spurs. Okay, Popovich, but not the voice of the Raiders. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm getting my pops mixed up. What I'm doing right now is looking for the video where he just completely went off. Just livid, okay? That's what I'm looking for. And that's what I'm trying to find. And Zaza Pachulia says, I'm not a dirty player. And Greg just went off on Zaza. And to me, look, I saw the play and I didn't think it was dirty. All right, he did one of those kind of swiping moves, like, but it wasn't like he didn't make Leonard fall. I just can't see that. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Let me find the video where Pop goes off. Hold on a second. Here is Greg Popovich basically ripping into Pachulia. All right. Where is this? This is here. It's right here. Let me turn this around for you. All right. There is. Make sure you can hear it. Okay.
And then think about
the
history he's had. And what that means to the team's head. What that means to totally unnatural closeout that the league was outlawed years ago.
Hold on a second, folks. I gotta clear up the static because I know what's going on. All right, I got it. Okay, now I'm going back to that. Apologies. Yeah. So let's go back to that. And here we go.
And what that means to a team. Who gives a damn about what his intent natural? You ever hear of manslaughter? It was outlawed years ago and pays great attention to it. And Kawhi's not there. And you want to know how we feel about it. You want to know if that lessens our chances or not. We're playing very possibly the best team in the league. We don't know what's going to happen in the East. And 9.75.
Hold on a second. There's some background noise I need to get rid of there. I don't know where that's coming from. But sometimes on these websites, when you go to like the Sports Illustrated website, you got these different things going on. And it becomes a little ridiculous, right? So hold on a second. That site's not a good one because Sports Illustrated's got something going on that's making it a little bit crazy. So let me find something on YouTube that I can use, because if you go to the Sports Illustrated site where the video plays, they've got some other advertisement that's playing drums. So you cannot hear it, all right? At all. So let me try. Let's see here. Pachulia. The trouble is, in looking at all these videos, they're all on different pages of sites. They're not on YouTube. And this is really, it's frustrating because you are being asked to go to a site that has, because you're looking for the video, right? But then guess what? You might think you found the video, but you've actually found a page. Like I've got all these different pages, and this is really wrong. And this is Google doing this. They ought to just send you to YouTube. Sorry for the rant, folks, but it's very frustrating. It is just very frustrating to deal with. And I mentioned this to the CEO, Susan Wachowski, And the problem remains. All right, now I've got a much better video, better quality on YouTube, okay? This is full screen. I'm going to skip the ad, turn it around, and we can hear this thing. There we go. Well, there's the ad. Let me skip the ad. There, okay?
Pop, how much more difficult is it without him, obviously, against a team like Golden State, as opposed to
how much more difficult is it?
I mean,
how would it be if Curry didn't play? How much more difficult would that be? I'm not a happy camper, but that's a silly question. A two-step lead with your foot closeout is not appropriate. It's dangerous. It's unsportsmanlike. It's just not what anybody does to anybody else. And this particular individual has a history with that kind of action. You can go back and look in Dallas games where he got a flagrant 2 for elbowing Patty Mills. The play where he took Kawhi down and locked his arm in Dallas and could have broken his arm. Ask David West, his current teammate, how things went when Jaja was playing for Dallas and he and David got into it. You got to think about the history he's had and what that means to a team, what happened last night. A totally unnatural closeout that the league has outlawed years ago and pays great attention to it. And Kawhi's not there. And you want to know how we feel about it. You want to know if that lessens our chances or not. We're playing very possibly the best team in the league. You know, we don't know what's going to happen in the East. And 9.75 people out of 10 would figure the Warriors will beat the Spurs. Well, we've had a pretty damn good season. We've played fairly well in the playoffs. I think we're getting better. And we're up 23 points in the third quarter against Golden State. And Kawhi goes down like that. And you want to know if our chances are less, and you want to know how we feel, that's how we feel. Follow up?
You expect the league to do anything?
Everybody knows press conferences in Washington. They always say, I got one more question.
You expect the league to do anything?
I don't care what the league does. I'm just telling you how I feel. The league is the league. They do what they do. I could care less.
Did you express the same tone with Kiki? Have you called?
No, I didn't call the league. Why would I do that? They looked at the play. If they do something, they do something. If they don't, they don't. All I care about is Kawhi's not there. And, you know, having your horses is important at this point in the deal. And when you're playing Golden State in their place and you're playing like that, it's pretty cool. And if he would have played and they'd ended up winning, I go get dinner, have a glass of wine, wake up the next day, go to practice, and move on. But this is crap. And because he's got this history, it can't just be, oh, it was inadvertent. He didn't have intent. Who gives a damn about what his intent was? You ever hear of manslaughter?
Ooh.
You still go to jail, I think, when you're texting and you end up killing somebody. But you might not have intended to do that. All I care is what I saw. All I care about is what happened. And the history there exacerbates the whole situation and makes me very, very angry. But I'm still open to follow-ups.
A basketball player should have a responsibility for the safety of the other 9 individuals on the floor.
Nobody wants to do anything that would put anybody else in danger for a game or a career. This guy's history is different.
Is this a situation where you're also considering Kawhi's long-term future when you decide whether he plays or not?
That's why we sat in the Houston series. weren't sure. We weren't sure, what this injury was. And we did the same thing with Tim Duncan early in his career in the Phoenix series. He could have played in that playoff, and I sat him because he had a great future ahead of him. So, we'll see. We'll see what the MRI says, but obviously he'll play tomorrow.
Wow.
Thanks. That pretty much covered it. Yes, sir.
I'm figuring today's not a good day to ask.
Wow. Okay, so you heard that, folks, and basically, that first of all, that video was courtesy of the San Francisco Examiner website, and actually San Francisco Examiner YouTube channel. And hey, look, I give the Examiner for once credit for being there and being smart enough to have somebody that has access to their YouTube page. Okay, nice job. But look, you can't make any mistake about it. The simple fact of the matter is that Greg Popovich just called Zaza Pachulia not just a dirty player, but he basically compared him to a serial killer. He basically accused him of manslaughter. Did you hear that? He basically said the guy should be in jail. All right? That's what he said. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Steve Macy says part of his rant is to fire up the team. Rick Rice says this is just Pop being Pop. He always does stuff like this. Yeah, he says his best for Donald Trump, doesn't he? Crawford 371 says Pop has the nerve to talk about dirty play. He needs to Google search McHale clotheslining Rambis. That's right. That's right. Thank you. The old Celtic Laker battles. Thank you. And let's see here. And then I'm chuckling at something Golden State Raider wrote a moment ago, but I want to go back because I know people had comments going through and I want to caught them. And Golden State Raider says Zaza took one for the team proper. Golden State Raider says exactly risky ankle. Rick Rice says Papa blows. And Miguel Rose says, shut up, Rick Rice. Papa is one of the best and most elite head coaches in the whole entire NBA. Papa deserves our respect, whether you like the Spurs or not. I don't think Rick Rice was trying to take... Hold on a second. Rick Rice had said prior to that, did he forget that Kawhi Leonard rolled his ankle on his own teammate sitting on the bench? See, that's what I'm getting at. Zaza was not responsible for Kawhi Leonard's injury. And I feel like Greg Papa is trolling the Warriors. I really do, because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. All right? I mean, Golden State Warriors says he's rude to media trying to do their job. That's why. And Steve May say, you'd be mad if your player got hurt. But here's the thing, okay? I really now question. How you doing, John? Crawford says, remember he had Bruce Bowen on his team. That's true. And Jamal Mills asked me if I checked. Nope, I did not. Let's see here. Ask Stephen A. Smith if he checked me out for a change. Heck, I can talk better than he can. You know what? Let me tell you something. I don't go off on rants like that. I don't feel like I have to come off like, brother from the street and all that. I am me. Okay? Period. So anyway, the whole point is, go Cubs. How are you? John is here. And Rick Rice makes terrific points. He does. He does. Sorry, Miguel. Melvin Lovejoy is in the building. Hide the women and children. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Melvin says he came down on Zaza's foot, not the bench player. Let me find that. Okay, now let's find this thing. Okay, because we need to have a fireside chat about this one. All right, hold on a second. This is serious business. This is serious business. Hold on a second. Let me Open up a new window here. History, go to YouTube. I said go to YouTube, not my channel. There we go. This is crazy. I'm on YouTube, it takes me to my own blog. Oh well. Engineering for you. Hey Barry, could you tweet this out, by the way? Let's see here. Thank you. And everybody else, hashtag NBA playoffs for a change. How about it? Let's see, Zaza. Remember Joey Zaza? Oh, there's a, hey look, I want you all to see this, alright? When I type Zaza in YouTube, this is what I get. Zaza needs to hire a reputation management specialist. This is what I get. Look at this. This is Zaza, right? I get Zaza dirty play, Zaza Pachulia dirty plays. Alright? Basically, it means two things. Not just that people think he's a dirty player, but they have multiple videos chronicling his dirty plays. Woo-wee! Hold on a second. Zaza Pachulia dirty plays. Hold on a second. And, okay. Here is what I believe may be the definitive video that, you know what? Check a look at this. This is that video. I cannot stand that working out with Sasquatch commercial. I like that when Sasquatch is actually this mean dude, you know? Hold on a second. That's another story. Was this, here we go. Was this a dirty play, alright? Watch. Okay? There it is, alright? Oh, shoot. See, it went back on me. Hold on a second. I hate that. Let me go back and, reverse this because I had it wide open here. This asks the question. Here it goes. What's the dirty play, all right? And let's fast forward a little bit to see this, okay? Right there. See, look at this. All right. Okay, look. Right here. Again. Now, hey, I'm sorry. You gotta have eyes in the back of your head to do that. That was completely accidental. I mean, to me, look at this, all right? Wait, look. All right, let's do this again. This is, all right, look at this. Look, okay? Look at this. Okay, jumps up, defending him. Okay, and then he turns, he's watching the ball, right? And he keeps, and boop. All right, look at that. Okay? And then he falls. All right, to me, all right, I'm sorry. I look at that, I say, hey, coincidence. That was accidental. I mean, maybe, you know, Zaza's got these dirty plays that happen that you think are dirty because the guy maybe is gangly and just kind of all over the place. You ever been around people who just seem to be so big and so clumsy that their arms just fall over everywhere? Well, you know, have you ever been to a bar and there's this guy that's in front of you and he's ordering and he hands a drink or it's kind of over here, it's over there? I have a feeling Zaza Pachulia is kind of like that. Now, Barry Lee says, like I said, I'm a Spurs fan, big time, but I don't think it was intentional. But at the same time, I'm mad because he was still out there after he messed up his ankle the first time. Melvin Lovejoy says it was what? Rick Rice says he's a 260-pound man. He can't stop when he's in the air. Purely accidental. I agree. And let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, Steve Macy, did I see the journal article about the new fuel index to help pay? Well, that's $200 million. Fine, that's great. But the bottom line is the total cost is $900 million. And people forget that. Again, SNTIA law says the Raiders are to pay an adequate amount. Okay? Not the whole amount. And that means that the state's going to pay some, and that you still have $700 million in costs left over. So, there you go. There you go. Now, the whole point is that whole fuel index deal has to be approved on. There might be a plan to do that, but I don't know that's been signed on because the fuel index, normally that money is dispersed around different projects in southern Nevada, so that can't possibly be set in stone. It may be proposed by someone, but to mess with that money is fighting words, even with the Raiders. So, dicey. Now, Rick Rife says, "This is the playoffs, son. Man up." Miguel Rose agrees. He says it was not a dirty play. Golden State Raiders says, "I'll say it was a little dirty, but I'll look the other way." How was it dirty? It was coincidental. How was it dirty? What was he supposed to do? Say, "Oh, gee, what was he supposed to do? Wear these extra special 1-inch gushy soles so that if he happened to make contact with, if he had made these or worn these, if Zaza Pachulia had these extra special gushy soles, it would have made it worse. Why? Because Kawhi Leonard's foot really would have gotten stuck. He probably would have fallen backward even more and hit his head someplace. And then we probably would be looking at, something like manslaughter. My God. But no, I think Pop went off too much. I think he used an injury, an accident, to fire up his team. That's what I think. And let's see here. Barry Lee says, Warriors just got hot in the third quarter. That was the main factor. That's what Crawford says. Golden State Raiders says, "Ayy." What does that mean? Barry Lee says, "I would be very surprised if our defense doesn't step up to the plate for Game 2. Rick Rice says he should be mad at his own damn team for not knowing how to play defense. There you go. I agree. Golden State Raider leaves a set of numbers that I have no idea relate to what. You want to help me? So, alright. You can't control where your feet are. There's no intent to... That's exactly. It was not intentional. What is the deal? And what is the deal? Okay? And, yeah, Doris, yep. Melvin Lovejoy says that this happens every day when playing basketball. I've rolled my ankle 1,000,000 times. It was a hype move. Steve Macy says it would be nice to see both teams healthy. It would be. It would be. Oh, okay. Let's see here. As far as I'm doing that because John Mark says it's buffering for him, but it's clear for me. Okay, so you have a look. Okay, so it's clear for me when I wave like that. Watch what happens. Okay, see, so it's not, and so it varies. I don't know what's going on in your end, but things happen, right? Now, who were you going to give those points? Nobody done. Says, Golden State Warriors, who's going to give you those points? Nobody. Done. Rick Rice says, Steve Kerr's back injury was from Zaza's too. Dirty player. Oh, jeez. Joseph Jones says, and they call the foul on him with no contact. Okay. Steve Collins is clear for him, John. Steve Macy says there's no buffering for him, John. Miguel Rose says now he has to drink some poison by rooting for LeBron James and the Cavs. John. Are you listening, John? Oh, boy. Melvin Lovejoy says, that happens every day when playing basketball. I rolled my ankle 1,000,000 times. I read that before. I've got to read that again. Melvin, I got to ask you a question. What the hell are you doing rolling your ankle? What are you doing? Okay? As far as the adults in Nevada, we're in a society where people feel powerless to do things. And, I mean, for example, there are people who, as many years, and I lived long enough such that when I was a little boy, there was the color line. I don't remember it. I grew up very well, thanks to my mom and dad, right? And we lived in Chicago. But in 1962, there were certain parts of the country that had colored bathrooms and colored water, white and black water fountains, even in 62. I was born 2 years, I'm not going to go off on a tangent too much, I'm just saying this. I was born 2 years before the Civil Rights Amendment. And now, fast forward to today, and you have black men, young men, who say voting isn't worth it. And one fellow was driving an Uber, and I said, let me out of your car. I don't want to hear this. So I'm saying, okay, so you say voting doesn't matter, and here now I've got to deal with the possibility of my great Obama health care being pulled because you're not voting, you didn't vote. Stuff like that. Anyway, we have a society, that attitude I was talking about filters its way into the Nevada situation. You have people who talk about stuff, complain about stuff, they'll go out in the streets and they'll hold a sign and protest. As my friend Tika Thomas, who John Marks, you may remember, and others, and Barry Lee, has the VryPack.com, the VryPack. He said that protesting is the new brunch. Okay, so my point is, what you're seeing with respect to all this public money going to the Raiders is people complaining about, but they're not doing anything. So in the end, nothing changes. Now, let's see here. Now, what am I missing here? Let's see here. Where adults in Washington? Good question. Good point. Miguel Rose there says Joseph Jones has fractured his ankle playing basketball. Crawford says if that was Draymond, he would be ejected and suspended for the rest of the playoffs. Absolutely. 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 And let's see here. Crawford's right. And Miguel Rose. Hey, by the way, anyone's experiencing buffering, I suggest shutting your computer down and turning it on again, and then making sure you don't have another application like iTunes or Spotify or another web page in a browser open that's competing for internet time with me. So, how you like the way I roll that in there? Now, John Marks says, why am I having buffering problems? Okay. Barry Lee says, are you on your phone or computer? Now, Miguel Rose says, Barry Lee, there's nothing but children in Washington. And Golden State Raider calls for impeachment of our president, who, according to the Washington Post, was selling secrets to the Russians. Okay? But Fox News would have you believe that's okay. In other words, hey, Obama made a deal to, as Katie Popovich pointed out, she said, well, Obama made a deal to trade intelligence with the Russians. That's different from secrets. Okay? But I digress. Alright, computer. Hey, ML, how you doing? ML, Money Lynch Scott. Alright. Question. Barry Lee, like Zenny said, make sure, yeah, that's right. That's right, John. Miguel says, come on, Zenny, you really don't trust Fox News, do you? No, I don't. No. But Crawford371 says it correctly. Don't boo. Vote. Hey, Crawford, are you actually President Obama back there? Gee, I hope so. ML in the house. Wait a minute, John Marks, your computer can't be that bad. You were able to give a shout out to ML, that means that stuff's working. Come on, John. Joseph Jones says, Zenny, do you know where this extra money will come from? All these costs for parking and traffic improvements. The total cost is $900 million, and I really encourage anybody, even if you don't want to, but do it. Read the NDOT report on the transportation requirements for the stadium. It's specific to the Las Vegas stadium, and it pegs the total cost at $900 million. It does not identify funding for all of them. Now, some people in southern Nevada say, well, those improvements were already earmarked to be done, but they're just moving them forward. It doesn't matter. The NDOT report focused on the stadium, okay? So why act like it didn't? That's hilarious to me. Absolutely hilarious. Now, let's see here. Hey, Zinni, I take offense to you not watching Fox News. Everyone needs a good comedy show to watch every now and then, and laughing is good for your heart. Hey, by the way, and then Miguel Rose says Jesse Ventura should be president, and Rick Rice says Trump is sharing intelligence with Russia because they're working together to fight ISIS. Okay. Jesse Ventura, let's see here. Let's see here. Secret stuff, don't believe it, I trust Fox. Let's see here. Let's see. What are the odds they get the lease done by the 26th? Well, that's the NFL. That was like in the middle of the NFL owners meeting, so it'd be a little late. You know, they got to get it done by the 22nd. And Crawford is right. UNLV is still the problem. Hey, not just UNLV, okay? Not just UNLV, but the issue of lack of jobs, from lack of obvious scheduled minority business participation. That's the other problem. So you know what I look for this week? I look for more discussion regarding that very problem. And if the issues of Nevada's black business community are not addressed, they might get noisy. They just might get noisy. So look out. Look out. The owners' meeting is the 23rd in Chicago. Figueroa says, Steve Macy, I hope they don't get the lease done at all. The Raiders need to stay in Oakland. Miguel, I agree. Crawford says civil rights groups should say something about this. Crawford is right. Rick Rice says, where's Al Sharpton when you need him? Well, here's the thing. I don't think a symbol... Look, I have nothing but love for Al Sharpton. But my point is, being treated fairly is a human problem. It's not a black problem. It's not a white problem. It's not an Asian problem. It's not a Hispanic problem. It's not a Jewish problem. It's not a Gentile problem. It's a problem. And so it shouldn't take someone like an Al Sharpton or a Jesse Jackson having to fly in to fix the issue. It should take concerned citizens stepping up and saying something. That's all. And Steve Collins says, how do we know it's a problem if they have no plans for project? Well, we know it's a problem because, and Steve, it's a good question, but Jeremy Aguilo said that there was no timetable for evaluating local businesses. He said that. To see who got what work, you know? In other words, you have people lined up to work. How you give them create a vetting process. Not done. Not done. So how are you going to handle it so that you are judging them on a truly meritocratic basis? Maybe they don't have a lot of experience, but perhaps for the projects they've done, they've got nothing but great Yelp reviews, right? That sort of thing. Golden State Raiders says, Mark Cuban said Las Vegas is not viable. It will bite you back. He's right. When did he say that? He's right. And Crawford 371 was never formally called a conditional approval. I mean, the NFL didn't call it that, okay? And what I can't stand is when people hear something in the media and they try to ascribe it to the National Football League when it wasn't the commissioner saying, this is a conditional approval. You never heard that come out of the commissioner's mouth. So if you didn't hear that come out of the commissioner's mouth, guess what? It's not a conditional approval. It doesn't mean it can't be turned around or anything or stopped because it didn't work, of course. But that doesn't mean it was a conditional approval. That's just part of the deal. Let's see here. He was on the outside. Oh, who was on outside the lines today? Mark Cuban? You say Mark Cuban was on outside the lines? He did? I gotta find that. Really? So you're telling me... Wow. Now, Melvin Lovejoy says, with this Vegas deal, when will the Raiders make coin? All I hear is money going to the Stadium Authority and Raiders dishing out dollars. I'm confused by it. Why would the move benefit them? Well, Melvin, here's the deal, all right? If you're going to build something in... Melvin, what city do you live in? Just curious. Golden State Raiders says yes, inning. Okay. Crawford says yep. Melvin, John Marks, because Mark Cuban is just another... Mark Cuban is not a nutcase, Miguel. Mark Cuban, who I've had the pleasure of meeting, is not a nutcase. But where do you live, Melvin, Mr. Lovejoy? Okay, regardless of the city, I'm going to try. Okay, St. Louis. All right. Melvin Lovejoy lives around St. Louis. Let's say, all right, that you're going to build a restaurant down the street. You're going to need to borrow money to do it. Unless, of course, you've got some money, stashed around someplace. You're going to have to pay an architect, an interior designer to come up with a plan. You're going to have to work with an accountant to come up with a budget. So you're spending money. You ever heard of the term spending money to make money? You're spending money to build something ostensibly so that what you build will allow you to make that money back and then some. You understand? So let's take the example that I gave to you, and instead of it being a local restaurant, it's a football stadium. Or better yet, it's an NFL football stadium. But the same basic process applies. So you need an architect, you got to spend money for the architect, and the contractor, and you have to spend money to get the thing built. Again, you have to spend money to market and print the tickets and everything else. It takes money to pay for all that to make money. You got to build it, which helps you make the money. It takes money to build the edifice to make the money back, and you would hope then some. Where public money comes into the deal is if a football organization were to spend all the money that it made in building a stadium, it would have no money to run its team. You have a chunk from the NFL that comes from the TV contracts, but you need some more. You can't just do another TV contract alone comfortably, because that contract's going to be consumed mostly by players. You have to pay staff, you have to pay utility and light bills for buildings that you own, you have to pay the property taxes, you have a lot of other obligations that are there. All right. You understand what I'm getting at? All right. Okay, now Rick Rice says Mark Cuban is a genius, and John Marks says Mark Cuban needs to buy the Raiders. And yeah, it takes money to make money. Steve Collins says value of franchise will triple in value. Miguel Rose says John Marks, I disagree. Either Magic Johnson, Bill Romanowski, Jeannie Buss, or John Gruden needs to buy the Raiders. Bill Romanowski? Oh, that would be interesting. Can you imagine Romanowski after Raider loss? Oh boy, that would be a sight, wouldn't it? Yeah, on second thought, that'd be pretty good for media, wouldn't it? And my mom is chuckling at me.
You're doing great.
Oh, thank you. And Go Cubs says, hey, Zinni, I said this last night. A few people that would be great owners for the Raiders, but it won't happen. A little laugh out loud John Elway serious ones would be a John Madden, Mark Cuban, or Reggie McKenzie. Okay. And Steve Collins canceled 4 seats. Yeah. And Corvette makes a good point. How is anyone going to buy the Raiders and Mark won't sell? But here's the catch. Mark Davis did say he would sell if this Vegas project didn't work out. Okay?
Well, I'm going to I didn't know that the San Francisco quarterback was going to go to Seattle.
Oh, that's a solid deal? Kaepernick,
that's the way they're talking about it.
Okay, I thought that was just talk. I didn't know if it was done. My mom is under the...
I don't know if it's totally done. It's just that I'm so glad to see somebody see the favor in Kovacic and take it.
Yeah.
If it's any coach that can make him do things right, it'll be the coach of the Seattle Seahawks.
My mom is pleased that Pete Carroll, the coach of the Seattle Seahawks, is speaking in favor of bringing Colin Kaepernick on as a backup.
He needs some understanding from his parents. He needs some understanding from a good coach. That girl is not good for him.
Because she says that, my mom says that Kaepernick needs understanding from his parents and from the coach, because she says that girl that he's dating is not good for him. That's my mom. So, and, oh, you do. Barry Lee says, Zinni, have a link for the Mark Cuban deal. Okay. For the deal, or you mean for his quote? John Mark says, Mama knows best. Yes. To Seattle. And RG3. All right. I know he said that, and I was going to do a show on it. Oh, you got it? Is that the video? Sports Day Dallas News. All right, Barry Lee. Hold on a second. Barry Lee has provided us with a link, which I am going to open. And it says, Mavs owner. Let's have a look at it. It says, Mavs owner. Right here. Mavs owner says, Mark Cuban. Oh, shoot, I hate this. Doggone these doggone advertisements. Well, you know what? Media's got to make money. But this is the kind of thing that makes people turn away. Okay? All right. Mavs owner Mark Cuban says it would take a multi-billion-dollar franchise fee to create an expansion NFL team today. Wow. So, hey, look. Wow. Okay? Anybody, and I know of somebody who is, Tariq Hassan of O3 Media is saying that Oakland will be the target for an expansion team. But Mark Cuban is right. It would take a multi-billion-dollar franchise fee to create an NFL expansion team today. Now, and I was there when Bob McNair won the right to put an NFL franchise in Houston. So he says, now as far as Vegas, let's see here. I'm looking for the quote. He says, the Rams, I don't see that quote, Barry Lee. I don't see that quote here. I see, let's see, how viable. Oh, I see. I get it. Bleacher Report's Mike Freeman asked Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban about how viable it would be for the NFL to put an expansion franchise in Las Vegas. Cuban's response, only if it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise fee. When you add a team, you have to give them share of profits, he said. So teams would split things by 33, not 32. The franchise fee has to be enough to more than pay for the share of revenue teams are giving up. It's the same reason I voted against expanding in the NBA. The question isn't whether it's worth it for the new owner, it's whether it's worth it to the NFL owners. Freeman goes on to say that such a price tag will make cities much more likely to get an NFL franchise via the musical chairs strategy, St. Louis Rams to LA, that sort of thing, rather than start getting their own startup. But you know what? If there's any region that could afford a multi-billion-dollar franchise fee, it's the Bay Area. Just saying. Now, okay, I don't see the quote here about Vegas. All right, I don't see that here. So that's not there. So he didn't say anything derogatory about Vegas. It was there? Well, you gotta find the cash version. It's not. I just read it. It's not there, man. It's not there, man. Maybe, yeah, it's not there. Now, someone said that he said it inside the lines or something like that, right? And so, you see, Darren Piarata Twitter page has it up, right? Hey, Crawford, check and see if that's the link to the same article. Just do some digging, because sometimes Darren takes something and he doesn't read it. You know, I like Darren a lot, I'm just being honest, but he doesn't read it in full. And so he winds up bringing out something that is questionable at times. Fortunately, he only does this maybe about 5% of the time. But it does happen. Of course, he could say some things about Wendy, but I'm just kidding. I like Darren a lot. But I'm only pointing out that just to check this one, all right? Now, Go Cubs says, see y'all, I'm falling asleep in my... Go Cubs is watching us from the comfort of his bed. Oh, good night, Go Cubs. Let's go Cubs. Let's go Warriors. Let's go. Darn computers. Doggone it. What's going on here? Alright. Let me help out Barry Lee here and see if I can find Mark Cuban's quote. Alright? A different way. Let's see if it's around here someplace. Hey, by the way, do you guys think that my channel name is too long? It used to be just Zenny62. Now I've got Zenny62 Live Blog, but when it comes up in the email, it says Zenny62 Live Blog and then title. I'm thinking maybe if I shorten it, you can see more of the title of the particular show. What are your thoughts? Hey, Barry Lee's come through back with a link that we all hope works. Let's see here. Zenny, would you agree with Mark Hume who says the NFL will collapse in 10 years? I'd say 15, but it's a different one. Dallas NBA. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban says greedy NFL 10 years away. Okay. Mark Cuban, the outspoken Dallas Mavericks owner, predicts a drastic decline in the NFL's popularity over the next decade due to the league's greed. I think the NFL is 10 years away from an implosion, Cuban said. Sunday evening with his pregame conversation with reporters, which covered a broad range of topics swayed toward football. I'm just telling you, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered, and they are getting hoggy. How come Mark doesn't give me any great quotes? I went to ask him about the whole Vegas issue and franchise values at CES, and he gave me some blow-off answer. It's like, what? Mark? Dude. All right. So I've heard Mark say this before. Now, and he talked about the... Now, what year was this? This sounds a little old to me. March, it is very old. This is March 24th, 2014. This has nothing to do with Vegas at all. Well, yeah, I've heard him say that. That's why I thought, this sounds... All right, this is 2014. So, let's see here. Mark Cuban. That is too old for what we need right now. Now, let's see here. Mark Cuban. Oh, by the way, Brian Gray, Paramount Pictures studio head, rest in peace. One of the smart decisions he made was the J.J. Abrams reboot of Star Trek. Now, Mark Cuban, NFL... I'm going to do this search myself. NFL, Las Vegas. Alright, let's see what we can find here. Now, I think we've got it, okay? It's on... Raider Wire has something as of 7 hours ago. Here. That's what you're looking for, yeah. All right. Mark Cuban on Raiders relocation to Vegas tends to backfire, okay? And, yeah, I just found it. I'll read this to you. It says, Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban expressed doubt in the Oakland Raiders' plans to relocate to Las Vegas despite the NFL's approval. On ESPN's Outside the Lines, Cuban was asked by ESPN's Bob Lee what he thought on the NFL's heading to Las Vegas. And he presents a snapshot of what Cuban said. And
what do you think the NFL is finding
here's right here.
Going into Las Vegas?
Hold on a second. Let me
Going into Las Vegas.
let me freeze this, all right, and then expand it so you can see it. All right, this is it. This is Mark Cuban with Bob Lay on ESPN's Outside the Lines right now.
You know, I mean, why? There's just no good reason. There's no disrespect to Las Vegas. It's a great city and it's vibrant, but they're going to a smaller market. It's transient. You know, again, that's just another example of chasing every last dollar, and that tends to backfire.
So there you go. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. And, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Right. And it wasn't... And something else, too. It's not just that it's a small market. It's what I pointed out earlier today, and I pointed out before. This deal was rushed. I don't know how many times I say that. I am definitely sounding like a broken record, but the fact of the matter is the deal was rushed. And it's going to take, I said this before today, and I'll say it again. It's going to take this is a $4 billion project. $4 billion. $2 billion for the stadium, the other $2 billion for transportation, land prep, infrastructure both on-site and off, and cost overruns. So, $4 billion. But you're talking about a region that is not ready to handle a structure of this size there. Now, if they listen to the mayor of Las Vegas, the great Carolyn Goodman, and put it at the Cashman site, they've got a better chance. They've got a better chance. Now, but that's too smart, it seems. I hope the Las Vegas deal does indeed backfire. No, Mark is right on. And Crawford says, $4 billion? That's really betting your last money, honey. Stay in Oakland. That's right. And Barry, oh, so sorry. I thought it was said 2017. That's okay, Barry. We got it. We got it. We got it. Barry Lee says, hey, Zinni, have you ever been to the old Lakers Arena, the Forum? No, I have not. I was never able to go and see it when they played basketball. There was a nice place. I only know what I saw on television. Maybe John Marks knows. And Steve Collins says, plenty of land next to the Speedway. Yeah, you're talking about the Vegas situation, right? Land, and it's also freeway, okay? And so the mayor has it right. But it's the simple fact that, Mayor Goodman has been treated with an incredible amount of disrespect. To the point where I wonder, gee, if she were a man, because she has been questioned, held out of the spotlight, and basically not treated in a way commensurate with being the mayor of Las Vegas, where her word stands. And she's a mayor who calls her shots. So all the way around, the politics, the optics of this just don't look good. It doesn't. Now, Miguel Rose says, Barry Lee, yeah, it was a very nice place. Hey, Miguel's been there. And John Marks says, no, I have never been to the Western Forum in L.A. I thought it was a Great Western Forum, right? The Great Western Forum. Why is it when I think of the Great Western Forum, I think of Bob Hope? What's all that about? I don't know. I think of Bob Hope. Bob Hope. Or I think of Johnny Carson. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, the Fabulous Forum. Yes, it was the Great Western Forum, John Marks, yes. And James Dolan, I heard bought the place. Oh, God, we're all... The Dolans, the same Dolans that basically chased the NFL out of New York. Wow. You know what I think that impacts the NFL in its future is MLS, Major League Soccer, and the popularity of this true world sport. Because as people come into the United States, which they've done before, they're bringing with them this great sport that we haven't embraced in the past, but now, because our numbers and percentages of total population that's immigrant are changing. I mean, I was at the gym and there were a couple of people basically doing a workout routine to K-pop, Korea pop, right? And they knew the Korea pop songs. Okay? So that's our world today. It is deliciously international, incredibly global. And with that comes a global consumption of sport. And Goodell, commissioner of the NFL, wants to expand the NFL worldwide, and I applaud that. But the way the league is going about it is, in my view, clumsy. Because, for example, if I speak Portuguese and I go to the NFL website, where do I click for my language? Where is the device that reads my location? It automatically switches me to the NFL website that's in my language. Not there. Not there for the Raiders, not there for the Cowboys. It's all English. Yes, I understand English is the language of commerce, but if you want someone to absorb your sport, that's what you do. And the Fabulous Four. Crawford says Oakland has the time to offer the entire acres, and he does. Oh, is that for me? Oh, thank you. Water. Thank you very much. Water. I need water. Always good to have water. Wow. And say, so you all have never answered. Well, hold on a second. Hey, Zinni, I just checked the Oakland City Council, and it seems they're having a meeting on Coliseum redevelopment on May 31st at 5 p.m. Thank you. I'll be there. In fact, you know what? I'll put that up tonight, and I'll go and check out the agenda. Maybe there's a packet there and we find out what's happening. Hey, Barry, send me the link to my email. Zinni@zinni62.com. Not right now. I don't want to... Well, wait a minute. Why not? Yeah, put the link right here. Why not? Who's your daddy? How you doing? Hoosier says all the big strip casino guys like Wynn, MGM, Caesars would not support the stadium if it isn't on the strip. I know that. But then they ought to pay for it. They ought to cough up some money, don't you think? They're not doing that. Barry Lee has just put up the link, so let's have a look and see what's happening.
There we go. There we go. Okay, special concurrent meeting details of the Oakland Redevelopment Successor Agency right there, 5 p.m. Meeting details not available. I don't see the agenda part there. Let's see here. Oh, not seeing that. That's not...
Hey, Barry, I'm going to have to look at that in more detail later because the specific, it's not, that's not the link. I'm not saying it isn't there, but I would have to, it looks like it's going to a committee, and they haven't posted the agenda for the 31st yet, all right? So, Barry, this is the second time tonight, man. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, Barry Lee? It's okay, man. Donis says soccer may surpass the NFL. And Donis, I think you're right. And I really do. I think both soccer and also, look, not just soccer. Look what is happening within the NBA and its impact. And you need to look no further than the worldwide trends on Twitter. The NBA playoffs are starting to dominate Twitter worldwide trends in the way that NFL playoff games do, or NFL regular season games. I have not seen that before. This has become a regular occurrence, and it speaks to the international popularity of the NBA and the rise of a number of the NBA players as superstars. And then think of and this will be a fun graph for me to do, the change in franchise value for NBA teams versus NFL teams, just to see who's where, right? Because I have a null hypothesis hunch that NBA teams are starting to catch up to the NFL brethren in terms of franchise value. Has anyone ever seen the Barclays Arena where the New Jersey Nets play? They used to be called the New Jersey Nets. They're not called the New Jersey Nets anymore. They're called the Brooklyn Nets. So, beautiful place. Have you ever seen Barclays? Ooh, that's beautiful. Barry Lee says, well, darn, I suck at research. And, yeah, I agree with Steve Collins. We're only kidding, Barry. Sort of. Anyway, Joseph Jones says, Zinni, in your opinion, why aren't there any politicians seeing this deal will end badly and the taxpayers in Clark County will be on the hook for $4 billion if this deal goes through? Well, because they don't feel that there's anything they can do to stop it. It's come so far, and I am thinking of Chris Giuliani when I say that. I'm going to reach out to her and see if I can get her on a live stream. She may say no, but because she doesn't want to be thought of as the bull in the china shop, right? But you never know. I'm sure she's concerned about this. She was a vocal opponent of the idea before it passed. But my guess is there are a number of people who do not want to be seen as taking the jobs gravy train to get away from laborers, the unions, okay? I think that's what's happening, but I'll follow up. Now, Miguel Rose says, the NFL really needs to get its blank together and get its house in order before it's too late. Yep. And Donis says, why the NFL is not that popular outside USA NBA is. Because the game of football isn't as easily portable. It requires an expenditure for a uniform. Pads, helmet, cleats, and then you've got this added concern of injury that you don't have in the NBA, and then you have to learn plays. Look, in basketball, you really don't have to learn plays. That's sort of an added deal. How many of you have played pickup basketball games? When I grew up in Chicago, we used to go to my Auntie Al's side driveway, and in the back they had a hoop, and that was where the neighborhood kids came to play. I was always the last called out because I was bad. But I got better because I was always the last, because I was always called out. Right? In other words, I can beat Zinni, right? And that's how it would go. And I got called out because of the whole, by the I can beat Zinni crowd, until guess what? Zinni became a pretty good defender. That's how it works. So, now, Barry Lee says, I think it's because of tradition. Brandon Lloyd says the Olympics is why. Melvin Lovejoy, do you think the NFL will change their mind since they have this new information? I bet Mark Davis gets some bad looks the next meeting. We'll find out. Miguel Rose says, Donis, it's also not as accessible as the NBA. Right. Barry Lee says, yeah, the NBA is not like the NFL where you have to know the plays as much as the NFL. Right, and I see what Miguel is saying. It's not as accessible to the casual fan. You know, it doesn't take much to understand basketball. Yet, you know, what's the objective? There's a hoop over here, there's a hoop over here. And you and I are playing, and I got to score over here. All right, and you got to score over there. The more points I score over here versus the more points you score over there, I win. That's not hard to understand. That's not hard to understand at all. Okay? So, football, it's, yeah, okay, I've got gridiron, and I got to score a touchdown over here, and you have to stop me, and then you have to score your touchdown over there, right? But then, if I don't pick up 10 yards, I have to punt, and then it's your turn to go this way. And then if you don't, then I get my ball back. And then if a person is not into it, you can lose track of who is where. And with basketball, it's different. Yeah, the ball is going back and forth, but it's going back and forth with the constant purpose of scoring. See, in football, the ball can go back and forth, but it's not related directly to scoring. It's because you didn't pick up enough yards. So that difference in and of itself, that fundamental difference, makes football harder for some people to grasp. You know, the objective of scoring is quickly subordinated by the structural rules of the game. You got to pick up 10 yards for a first down. So, Barry Lee says, yeah, the NBA is not like the NFL where you have to know the plays. Crawford says, Stephen Ross will be the first dirty look. Stephen Collins says, basketball is run and gun. Crawford's talking about Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, who hopes the deal will fall through. And Crawford 371 says, the way the NFL is doing business, they will become what is boxing is today, and that's not good. Barry Lee says, we grew up with football in America, unlike in Europe, where soccer is instilled at a young age and the NBA is worldwide. And see, but Barry, football was instilled as a young age with us. But the problem with football is, aside from the uniform costs, head injuries. And when football was coming up, we were not, particularly in my, I wasn't at all aware, when I was in high school, of the negative impacts of getting what we used to call bell rung. Now we call it a concussion. And now we say, hey, if you're concussed, you sit out. And you see a doctor, and maybe you don't play for a little bit. Whereas back in the 70s at Skyline High, when Tony Fardello was the coach, All-American at home, eh? All right? He says, hey, got his bell rung, send him back in, all right? Different mentality. Today, getting your bell rung is a serious issue. It's very serious. So you don't have the problem of getting your bell rung in basketball. If you get your bell rung in basketball, it's generally for some reason that's criminal. Aside from maybe falling on the court, maybe somebody hit you, then they're out of the game. But getting your bell rung is not the normal course of play in basketball. So, Miguel Rose says, right, well, it can be compared to basketball because they both are sports with objectives. You know, 2 goals and balls. So you can. Remember, basketball and football, both balls, right? So you can compare them. Donna says, you get CTE, thank you. Steve Collins says, in Temecula, it can cost, what is it, $600,000 or $60,000? Oh, excuse me, $600 for my grandson to sign up for youth football. Yeah. And Steve Collins, you just unlocked the other problem. And, hey, Octavio, how are you? And in an era of declining wage levels adjusted for inflation, $600 is hard for a lot of families to come up with. And you don't have, financial assistance for football families, right? Is there a GoFundMe? Is there a fundraising social media site for football families? I haven't heard of one. Good idea. Good idea. But right now, I don't know that there's one. Okay? So apparently Lee says, yeah. When I was in high school, let me play every time. And I had my bell rung in the 80s. See? Does that explain this research snafu? I couldn't resist. I could not resist. It was sticking out there. I couldn't resist, all right? I couldn't. And let's see. Mr. Comatose, something like 48 of 50 NFL vets that donated their brains to medical science have shown evidence of CTE. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so we now have parents saying, I will not let my kid play football. And in a cacophony of voices we haven't heard before. Even, I believe, Tony Dungy made that comment. Of all people, think about it. Tony Dungy made that comment. The former coach of the Indianapolis Colts and Tampa Bay Buccaneers made that comment that he would have to think twice or something like that, or it was against. Think about it. Think about it. Good night, Barry. Good night, Barry. And Jamal says, what's the topic of the day? Mr. Mills, the topic of the day is, let me ask you, first of all, what did you think of the Celtics win? Second, did you think that Zaza made dirty play on Kawhi Leonard? And do you think that the Celtics will beat the Cavs to open Game 1 on Wednesday? And what do you think of the latest NFL news in Vegas regarding, among other things, the parking issue, Mark Cuban's claim that, Vegas is too small, and he said that today, and so on. That's what we've been talking about, and I'm going to go until 2 o'clock. Good night, Barry. And good night. Miguel Rose says the NFL needs to go back to old school smash mouth football. Damn, all these stupid new rules. I think the rules are necessary to make the game safer and faster. And those are two objectives the league has had at the top of its list of goals and objectives, right? Now, Jamal says Boston was a great win, but we actually enjoyed the game. Isaiah stepped up. He did, didn't he? He did. Now, who do you have? Celtics or Cavs? Who do you have, John Marks? Who do you have, Steve Collins? Who do you have, mister? And Mr. What? He says Zaza was aiming to hurt. How? We've been through this. He said scumbag play, some sort of play Bill Laimbeer used to. Nah. It was an accident. I completely disagree with you. It was an accident. John Mark says the Celtics are going to win Game 1. Jamal Mills says, hate to say, but Cavs. Miguel Rose picks Cavs. Steve Collins picks Boston. I pick the Cavs. Octavio Arias says, I hate the Celtics, but I'd rather see them in the finals against the Warriors because I don't like LeBron either. But Octavio, your disliking LeBron is not going to stop him from playing well. I mean, you are aware of that, right? And why do you... I don't dislike LeBron at all. I think LeBron has matured into a fine young man. Yeah, I did say that. Because there was a time LeBron used to... He really was that... Remember Queen James accusations? They really fit. But he's really moved beyond that, okay? And Mr. Coleman says he doesn't... I don't see it that way. I'm a Celtics fan from way back. Well, Mr. Coleman, I'm a Lakers fan from way back. How about that? I'll see your Larry Bird and raise you Magic Johnson. How about that? Jordan rules. Jamal Mills. Boston does not have anyone who can handle LeBron James. Octavio says, I'm a Lakers fan all the way. Crawford says, LeBron is in playoff mode. That is scary. Stephen Collins says, LeBron has become a stand-up guy. He has. Joseph Jones says, no one complained on the Spurs when Bruce Bowen did it, and he admitted doing it on purpose. Ooh. Mr. Comatose says, yeah, well, there's no doubt the Lakers are great then. No, they won't. Right. Boy, the Lakers now, oh, that's hide the women and children. That's horrible. Oh. Also, Boston does not have enough shooters. Octavia says LeBron is a winner. Hey, who do you think is going to win between the Celtics and the Cavs, Mom?
The Cavaliers is going to win. It's a better team.
Mom says the Cavaliers are going to win. It's a better team. As if, why are you asking me that question?
Really? You got Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving, yep.
Look at the good players they got. You just got to match them up man for man. Those are some good players. No,
yeah, that's my mom.
Gonna win.
Said Mom called it.
Yep.
Rick Rice says, hey, Zinni, what do you think about LeVar Ball? I try not to. Crawford 371, is James Worthy included, John? Melvin Lovejoy, Cavs haven't last all playoffs. No one playing better than Kyrie. Yep. No winner, whiner. No winner, whiner. That's hilarious. Oh, this is fun. Mr. Comatose, in fact, I don't think there are too many teams that can beat the Celtics, Lakers, and the 76ers of the 80s. No, you know why? Hey, you forgot to throw in the Pistons. You know? Mr. Lambeau or the elbow, right? They were rough. They were rough customers. No, I don't think the players of today could stand up to it. And, they would be crying and stuff. Boy. No way. Let's see here. Miguel Rose says that he would rather die than root for the Celtics. Lakers all the way. Now, Mr. Comatose hated the Pistons. John Mark says LeBron the winner. And Melvin Lovejoy says that my mom knows her stuff. That's awesome. Yes, it is. She does know her stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And I'm saying that yep, as if to say, yeah, I should have listened to her about the game, but I didn't. She would say I should listen to her about a lot of things. But that's another story. Crawford 371 says LeBron would not have a chance in the paint with Lambeer, Rodman, Mahorn, and Isaiah Thomas. No, not at all. No, not at all. Lambeer would tear him apart. Isaiah would steal the ball. Rodman would crush him. Oh, that was not funny. Boy, that is not funny. Oh, God. Dennis Rodman would be a fun person to interview, wouldn't he? Wow. So I'm trying to get... Okay, here are the guests I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get Annie Agar. She was at the NFL draft. Some of you might remember her in my video. And I'm trying to get the producer of the New Media Film Festival, longtime friend Susan Johnston. I'm trying to get Lou Ferrigno's daughter, who has a new fitness book coming out. So that's just an example of the people I'm trying to get lined up here. Yeah, all women. But, and more. So, that's what I'm aiming at, So, we'll, fingers crossed that it happens. Fingers crossed. Michael Cooper. Cool. As John Mark said, cool. Yep. Okay, so no one has told me other than my mother. I'm still trying to work out the legality of that shareholder thing. But I will soon. And I'm trying to figure out if I can actually do it without getting dinged by someone saying, hey, you have to file with the SEC and yada, yada, yada. So I'm thinking of doing this in a way that, that is legally copacetic, as they say. But I haven't at all given up on the idea. Now, let's see here. Crawford says Rodman can share secrets about Kim Jong-un. I interviewed Dennis Rodman at CES in 2012. That was fun. I'm going to reach out to Rodman and see if I can get him on this live stream. Like I said. Oh, how about Kurt Rambis? Good idea, Miguel. And then Barry Lee's got some great ideas. Of course, he went to bed already. Anybody else got... Oh, by the way, you all have not told me who's going to win. Celtics, Cavaliers. My mom's told me. What do you say? And then Mr. Comatose says that, yeah, the Celtics were a good young squad. They have some good potential. Not sure they have a chance against the LeBronis. John Mark says, how about Rick Fox? Good idea. Miguel Rose picks the Cavs. Steve Collins agrees with Miguel. Melvin Lovejoy says he saw a clip today of Amari Cooper playing basketball, and he was really good. Blew him away. Melvin Lovejoy says Cavs. I say Cavs. Now, I don't mean like the Raquel Welch Cavs. I mean, the Cavaliers. Okay. The Cavs. The Cavs. Octavio Harris says Contact Magic. Maybe he can buy the Raiders' first black owner. I like the idea. John Mark says Celtics in 7. Rick Rice says Cavs will lose game 1 due to rust and then sweep the next 4. I tend to think of that the other way around. I think that this is Monday night. The Celtics are just finished, and they're going to play on Wednesday. So I think they go in, they're the ones going a little tired. Okay? And they're being asked to come up with that energy again. You basically just 2 days later. Now, if it were the end of the week, I'd say yeah, but no. I think a rested Cavaliers squad is what you don't want to face. I really do. Warriors, Cavs, a rematch. The Cavs haven't lost all season when having 3 or more days off. Melvin Lovejoy with a stat. Bears repeating. The Cleveland Cavaliers haven't lost all season when having 3 or more days off. Jamal Mills says, hey, Zenny, have you heard anything from John Madden regarding the move? Not personally, no. On the other hand, I haven't asked him yet either. Crawford 371, before or after Doug Christie, John? And Donnie says, no doors, what? No doors. LeBron James is the next MJ. There is no next MJ. I thought we settled this conversation. No. Maybe LeBron's a better defender. Maybe he's better at setting guys up. But a better offensive player? A better player? Than Michael? No. Michael Jordan just elevated the game so much that that makes my head hurt just thinking about that idea. Alright, sorry. Rick Rice says, MJ takes great game-winning shots, LeBron passes it. Yeah. Steve Collins offers Larry Bird. Octavio Harris says, Jordan, best clutch player. You think Larry Bird is better than Michael Jordan, Steve Collins? Dude. As Jamal Mills would say, that's foolishness. Octavio Harris says, never. Donna says, LeBron is the next MJ. He almost broke the internet. Jamal Mills says, no. Miguel Rose says, nope, you're wrong. I'm surprised someone hasn't asked you what you're smoking. What are you smoking? Yeah, replay is different. Oh, funny, Steve Collins. He just claims he's just pulling my chain. All right. John Marks. Joe Flacco is... Where'd you guys come up with this Joe Flacco stuff? That's hilarious. Oh, boy. Hey, he could be, though. He could be. He's funny. Miguel wants to know, Donis, are you on crack? I'm only asking for him. I'm not insinuating that you are. Okay. All right. You want to give me a score? Would you take the Cavs and give the Celtics the points? I'll give Celtics 5. How's that? Yeah. Here. Yeah. Jamal Mills says, Flacco had a ring, yet Ryan doesn't have one. Yep. I'm just saying. Who started that? Who created that comment? I'm just saying. Ooh, Crawford371 says the crack must be piping hot. And there's a Russian person writing something in Russian. I have no idea what this person is saying. Thank you, John Marks. I guess someone can read Russian and figure it was vulgar. Oh. Donna says he's high on Starbucks, but are you at Starbucks? That's the question. Are you at Starbucks? And Nolan Lovejoy says MJ made all the legends look bad. Talking about Michael Jordan. LeBron was robbed because he doesn't have that, but not better than MJ. I agree. Donna is at home. Okay. So wait. Starbucks is your home, right? I'm a little confused there. And is that Putin trying to hack? It could be, Crawford371. It could be. Donna says no. I was kidding, Donna. It was a joke. It was a joke. Although, owning a Starbucks and living above it would not be a bad thing. Get a management company. Nate, thank you. Nate Cuccelli with $2. Thank you, Nate. Very nice. Thank you, Nate. Very nice. Yeah. Octavio Area says Dilfer also has a ring. Does it make a difference? Hey, Dilfer was really dinged for not being an elite quarterback. And my retort is that it's not that Trent Dilfer wasn't an elite quarterback. He was in a system that did not allow him to be an elite quarterback, all right? Either at Tampa Bay or Baltimore. But he was better with Baltimore. Okay? He was better. Thank you, Nate. Nate, did you have a comment you wanted to make? Or I thank you for the contribution. Oh, by the way, someone asked for... Well, I'll deal with that later. Never mind. Jamal Mills, donation. Yes. But Nate goes down on the list of shareholder placeholders while we get the system together. Miguel Rose insists that comparing LeBron James to Michael Jordan is, quote, are you insane? No! Donna says not a bad idea. Rick Rice says Dilfer is elite, period. Them fighting words, man. Rick Rice put it out like that's it. He's elite and we're not arguing about it. Crawford says David Carr has a ring also. What? Whoa, he has a ring. David Carr has a ring. I'm trying to roll this around in my head because David Carr was with the Texans, but he never won a Super Bowl. So, the New York Giants. You're right. He does have a ring. He was a backup with the New York Giants. As a backup with the New York Giants. Great trivia question. Very slick. I like it. And so anyway. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Jamal Mills agrees with that, and Mel Blundelejo says true Rick Rice. That makes me mad about today's game. Interesting. Miguel Rose says MJ would totally mop the floor with LeBron. I agree. Steve Collins says Dilfer was a joke. Ooh, bet I get trimmed on the show. Brad Johnson, a capable, steady hand, who ran John Gruden's offense capable. Doesn't make him an elite quarterback. No, the defense really bailed them out of the games. Mark Rippon has a ring. Mark Rippon I regard as an elite quarterback. Yeah. Melvin Lovejoy says it would not let me donate today. I tried. Really? That's odd. Hey, you know what, Melvin? I think what you have to do is when you use Super Chat, the thing you're supposed to do is type in what you want to say. All right? Like your comment, whatever it might be, writ large. I think that's why. I'm theorizing. So if you want to make a comment and have me see it, yeah. But as far as just the donating, which is great, that may be the hang-up. I'm only guessing. I don't know. Now, let's see here. And Donis, you have to go? All right, I'll see you. Their car is good, says Jamal. Jim Plunkett does have 2 rings, Mr. Coma. Steve Collins says maybe wedding ring. Ooh. Oh, the T-shirt thing, Steve Collins. I'll straighten that out tonight. I'll correct that tonight for tomorrow. Miguel Rose, Jim Plunkett needs to be better Hall of Fame. It's 1:54, folks. I'm gonna wind down because we have gone for a pretty good length of time. And Plunkett, yeah, Plunkett needs to be a Hall of Fame. You be good, Donis. Tavio says, Bill Callahan sold us down the river, asked Rice and Brown. High five on that, man. Woo, what a bad game plan. Oh. And after a historic season in Raiders offense history, yeah? Wow. Yeah. Bill Callahan. Remember he called his players stupid? This has got to be the stupidest group I've heard. Wow. What a classic moment in sports. He does. He has Callahan, Crawford says, 371 says, Callahan has still one of the greatest rants of all time. Right up there with Dennis Green's rant. Or Jim Mora's rant. Playoffs? 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 Oh my gosh. Tavis says, we were supposed to run the ball. Yes. He ended up throwing. Dennis Green had the best. He did. The Bears are who we thought we were. And we let them off the hook. That sound was him hitting the mic. Very hard. Very hard. Thank God we have a true leader in Del Rio. Yes. And not only that, a man who likes a good beverage at Sam's Anchor Cafe. John Mark says, I remember playoffs. He's talking about Mora. Playoffs? Tyrone Wheatley. Miguel Rose calls Bill Callahan a traitor. Steve Collins says, rest in peace, Coach Green. Talking about Dennis Green. Yes. Hey, by the way, speaking of, I don't know what made me think of this. I do. Dennis Green made me think of Arizona Cardinals, which made me think of Phoenix, which made me think of my NFL annual meeting trip, which made me think of this diner I went to that's 24 hours. It has these great omelets. It's a roadside diner. I forgot the name of it. It's right across from where I stayed at the Extended Stay America in Phoenix. If you have a chance, go there. Tell them I sent you. Great place. And I'll get the name for that. Yeah, I have to start making a travel log of places I've eaten at, around the country, Boy. I look up the Lee Ella rant. Still holds record for F-bombs in a rant. Would you believe I haven't seen that in full? I've got to check that out. I really do. Folks, it is 1:58 and IHOP Colorado omelet. I'm going to wave. I can only do the wax on. If I do the wax off, I actually literally have to switch hands like this. Wax off. So I'm going to just wave goodbye and say, see you guys tomorrow. All right? Same bat time, same bat channel. Good night, Miguel Rose. Good night. I was able to get a cheesesteak in Philadelphia. Yes, I was. Good night. It was very good. And try using Yelp to track my eating place is a good idea. Scott. Scott's full of good ideas. Good night, everybody. Good night, Steve, John, Melvin. Good night, everybody. Good night, and thank you for the contribution, by the way. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. And yeah, it's all gonna be a gas, and it's stone, and it's honey. I didn't want to get too, dyed up in that. I didn't want to take anything away from either Crawford 371 or Don Cornelius. He used to say, "You can bet your last money it's all going to be a stone gas honey." He is Don Cornelius. I'm Zen Abraham, and I am out of here. See you guys. Good night.